Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the Cryptoverse. Today we are Cliff Dwellers again. So let me just post this video in a couple different places and then we will jump in. How's everyone doing tonight or this morning? I don't know why I said tonight, it's the morning here. Okay. Alright, so we're watching the price here. I actually just put out a video like a few minutes ago. Had I known it was going to come down that quickly, I would have just gone straight to a live stream. But here we are, like we were a few days ago, dwelling on cliffs. Okay, so the general idea, right, is we're just little stick figures dwelling on these cliffs and jumping down every so often to a new level. And maybe we'll get some bounces here. I would say it's too early to say exactly if this is a dead cat bounce. It seems like it could be one, especially if you zoom out to like the 1 hour time frame. So I mean, there's certainly a possibility here. We talked about this as one of the possibilities. It's always hard to know when you're in one, right? Because you really never know if we're just ultimately going to trend higher or not. Just like in 2017, every correction, ultimately we trend higher. Correction, and then we trend higher. And then, correction, and then do we trend higher? It's too early to say yet. We simply do not know. But there are some things we do know, and that is that the dollar is putting up a fight, which we've been talking about. Keep an eye on, right? The dollar, keep an eye on the dollar. This is where it put up a fight in January of 2018. This is where it put up a fight. So we want to watch the dollar closely because it could help give us an indication as to what's to come for Bitcoin over the next few months. And you can see that the dollar actually fought for 4 months at this level in 2018 before definitively heading higher, ushering in the bear market, right? So this is this could just be the beginning of a month, a several month fight for the dollar and for Bitcoin. So keep an eye on the dollar. Also, keep an eye on the dominance because Bitcoin is definitively at a crossroads. It is at a crossroads right now. What are the crossroads, you may ask? Well, it's quite obvious. Here we are. These are 4-hour candles. We've tested the 68.5% dominance many times, and we're at it again. So we are at a crossroads, and my general understanding here is obviously there's a couple things that could happen, right? First of all, it can go up, down, or sideways. We know that. But what does it mean? If it goes down, okay, if we see the dominance of Bitcoin go down, and this was all we knew that was happening, then what it likely means is that altcoins are doing well. And how could altcoins do well? As we've said before, Bitcoin, as long as Bitcoin doesn't correct too quickly, they stand the chance to do well. You can see that, other coins like DOT were up to, $14. Link, despite the drop, is still at around $19. Altcoins are generally showing strength. However, in order to maintain that strength, Bitcoin cannot keep falling off a cliff. Okay? If Bitcoin keeps falling off a cliff, they will not maintain that strength. We know that. They're holding on right now because there's still a chance, right? There's still a decent chance that Bitcoin holds on. We're still at 35K. We're still at 36K. From the bottom over here at around 30K, we're still up around 20%. So it's not like it's definitively over yet by any means. Altcoins are holding on. As we said, Link is at around 19 bucks. ADA is still around 30 cents. Ethereum is at 1150. And Ethereum Bitcoin, Ether Bitcoin valuation is still doing okay. It's still well within our general uptrend channel. So in terms of altcoins, I think what we would like to see would be for Bitcoin to not continue this capitulation in the short term. Okay, if Bitcoin continues this short-term capitulation where it's dropping, by $1,000 every hour or so, then altcoins will lose confidence. Okay, they will lose confidence if Bitcoin keeps trending down. But as we've said, if Bitcoin is able to somehow hold on for a bit, it could usher in an alt season. So we just simply need to keep an eye on what Bitcoin's doing here. And I just published a video on all this stuff, but again, I did not realize when I started the video that the price was gonna be so volatile in a very short period of time. Let me just check the chat. Yeah, I mean, let's take a look. I mean, so Link is at $19. This is one of the things we've said before. Remember, Link does improve your risk-adjusted returns, right? I mean, this is a day where Bitcoin is down. Link is up. I mean, it's at 19 bucks. I understand that it went to $22 earlier, but if you just look at it on a daily time frame, Link is doing quite well over the last day. This is a great example of it being reversed, right? Where Link is doing well and Bitcoin's not doing well. So for the last 3 or 4 months, it was Bitcoin was doing well and Link was more or less lagging behind. Now Bitcoin is correcting some and Link is trying to hold strong. Okay, so this is another key example of Link helping to offset some of the negative Bitcoin volatility. This is an example. So just something to keep in mind, right? I mean, we're pragmatic about things. We don't necessarily look at hourly moves and try to draw too many conclusions. We look at over the macro scale. Bitcoin has been doing well for 3 or 4 months, and this is why it can pay to have some diversification. And Link is one that, as we've shown before, it does improve your risk-adjusted returns. So this is a good example, of it. But it does look like, I was sleeping when it happened. Someone says that doesn't make me a true Link Marine. It is what it is. But yeah, you can see it had a wick up to close to $23. So here Bitcoin is. It's coming back up somewhat, but we're still going to see if this general downtrend is going to continue or not. Because if this downtrend continues, we would likely see altcoins, continue to lose confidence. So let's keep an eye on what Bitcoin's doing, and see if in fact it can stabilize again. And one of the things to keep an eye on too, if you want to follow along live, pull up DXY, pull up the U.S. dollar currency index, and see what it's doing. Okay, what is DXY doing? And if you pull that up, we can get a better appreciation for why Bitcoin has cooled off some here, at least in the short term, at 42K. It's simply because, if you go look at the time when Bitcoin hit that all-time high, it was on January 8th, right? So it was on January 8th, and DXY started trending up right around that time. So DXY bottomed on January 6th. On January 7th, it came back down. And then since January 7th, it has been trending higher. And since, around the same time, Bitcoin has had trouble putting in a new all-time high. It's because the dollar is simply showing strength. And if the dollar shows strength, then Bitcoin will not, generally speaking. So this is the risk you take. When when you look and you usher in when altcoin seasons are ultimately ushered in, which there still is a chance, right? You just simply do not know if it's going to happen, right? And this is the risk you take. So if it happens and you live through this and it works out, then great. I mean, that was the risk that you paid. If it doesn't work out, then hopefully you've accumulated those altcoins at low enough levels to where you're not overexposed in the short term. This is why we talk about smart money coming in, dumb money coming in. I had one person comment on my channel yesterday, and they were like, I've been watching Ben for a month, and he always says that none of the cryptos are in accumulation phase. No, that's simply not true. I mean, Link was in accumulation phase not that long ago. In fact, I mean, just a week ago, a couple weeks ago, earlier in January, I was buying Link. It's simply not true. When it was back, around $11 or $12. ADA has been in accumulation range not too long ago. These are weekly charts, but I mean, it was in accumulation range just a couple weeks ago, according to the risk metrics that we use on the channel. A lot of coins, in fact, were in accumulation range not that long ago. I mean, a couple weeks might seem like an eternity, but it really isn't that long of a period of time. So this is why we say, accumulate when it's quiet. Don't chase the pump, and we'll see where it takes us. I mean, I certainly have altcoin positions. I'm willing to see what's going to transpire here because despite the fact that Bitcoin is trending down, there is a chance that altcoins rally, and if they don't rally, then at least I stopped accumulating. Before the pumps really started to occur. So let's see if Bitcoin can come back up, and if it's going to to kind of calm down here, or if we're going to get another sharp correction in the short term. We'll also keep an eye on Ethereum because we would very much like to see Ethereum put in a new all-time high, but in order to do that, it needs to get over 1420. So it's not quite there yet. So that's something we will want to keep an eye on. And Ether is still holding up relatively okay because if you look at the Ether Bitcoin valuation, we're still very much doing okay. We're at 0.032. We're very much okay. The low in the week of December 21st was 0.022. The following week the low was 0.023. The following week the low was 0.029. The following week so far, the low has been about 0.0294, and we're currently at 0.032. So we are still trending up. Obviously, people want to look at what Bitcoin's doing because this is ultimately what's going to dictate whether altcoin season can take place, right? And this is exactly what happened in 2017. I mean, we're not saying that this is the peak of the entire cycle, but this is what happened in 2017. Bitcoin came up, it peaked, it came back down, and then altcoins started to rally in this phase. But it also lasted several weeks. So far, we're only looking at a couple days here. So we will certainly want to keep an eye on that. And again, if you're watching the Bitcoin dominance like me, around the 68.5 is a pretty important level. It seems that we would want to go below and sustain below it if we in fact are going into usher in a altcoin season. So around 68.5%. It has trended down from 73 down to 71, down to 69 or 70 or so. We're currently at 68.5. And again, as we said, this is the range we want to break in order for us to see some altcoins gaining back against Bitcoin, right? We want to see them gain back against Bitcoin. And the only way they're going to do that is if Bitcoin doesn't capitulate in the short term, most likely. So, if we keep getting pushed down here, we're going to keep jumping down to new cliffs. So let's see what happens. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and give the video a thumbs up. Let's go for 100,000 subscribers. So thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe and click the thumbs up, and also turn on your alerts. So these are exciting times for sure. So Bitcoin is at 35.9. Link is still around $19. Ethereum is at 1145. So we will want to keep a very close eye on these markets. And sorry I keep yawning. I went to bed pretty late last night. All right, Matthew, bye. So how's everyone doing? How's everyone doing today? I mean, we said, look, I mean, so far altcoins are holding up. They're holding up. ADA's still at 30 cents. Dots, $13. Link, let's go look at Link. Link Bitcoin. It's been trending up. It's up today. It's up the last couple days. Altcoins are still doing okay, and it's because Bitcoin still hasn't crashed, right? I mean, it's at 36K. It's not like this is necessarily a dead cat bounce, but it might be. So we just want to keep an eye on it, and things can change very quickly. And again, like to see the Bitcoin dominance go below 68.5 or so. DOT's still holding up strong too. Do I think a 50K Bitcoin is still possible? Um, I mean, I think it is this market cycle. I don't know if it is in the short term. I mean, it might be, right? I mean, we try to identify the phases of the bubbles when they occur. Um, we're simply, looking. Hindsight will always help us figure out, right, what would happen. Of course, this could be the beginning of a dead cat bounce. Of course, it could be. Right? We're not going to say it can't be. Of course, it could be. And this is what we said over the last few videos: is that even if it is a dead cat bounce, as long as it doesn't like drop immediately, then altcoins could still rally. I mean, this is a great example of Bitcoin coming down 10%, and in the same time, Link in the same time that Bitcoin has come down 10% over the last day or so, Link is up about 20%. This is a good example, and DOT is also up. This is one of the other coins we follow. This is the 1 hour chart. Let's go to the daily chart. DOT is also up over the last day or two. I mean, over the last day, it's up like 33%. Over the last couple days, 80 or 2.5 days, 80%. So all coins are still holding up so far, but it's because Bitcoin hasn't completely capitulated. So if there is an altcoin season, it's because Bitcoin is able to somehow hold on here. And if it can, then again, that's the risk that you take. Let's go back to the 5-minute time frame and see what we're looking at here. Let's take a look. Still doing okay. Let me pull up the BLX because let's look at some of the macro and the macro charts we look at. So let's take a look. So the first one is our regression bands. So these are the regression bands for Bitcoin, right? So these are our regression bands. And if you're curious, like if you're new to the space and you're curious where I would consider smart money to generally be buying, it's in these areas, right? And that's why I don't buy in the current areas. And of course, I get a lot of flack, right? If you don't buy here and it continues to go up, you might say, "Oh, did you buy the dip?" Ben surely didn't. But again, it's all about managing your risk, and I'd rather manage it in a responsible way, and coming down here, buying down here in the regression band, than chasing a pump, right? I mean, we've often said you don't chase pumps because chasing pumps will eventually, completely wreck your portfolio. It could always work out in the short term, right? And then you can poke fun at the people not buying the dip. But chasing the pumps forever will not always work out. So This is the lower part of the regression band. If we take a look at overvaluation from the fair value, we are at 243% overvalued or so. For us to get to the peak regression band, which, I mean, again, it's only fit to 3 data points, but if we were, we would need to go up, approximately another 40%. So if the price of Bitcoin were to go up another 40% from here, we could get to the top of the regression band. But we're not there yet by any means. But still, I mean, on the weekly time frame, Bitcoin still looks pretty good so far, right? I mean, so many green candles, a couple of reds. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 greens in a row, followed by a red, green, red, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more green candles in a row. So, in terms of looking at these regression bands, of course, Bitcoin's overextended. It's been that way for a long time. It doesn't mean it can't trend higher. And one of the reasons why while it could be the local top for Bitcoin, I don't think it's the global top. Partially because, if you look at, I'd say the price divided by the fair value, and let's look at it on like a daily time frame. Seems to be a pretty decent trend in terms of peaks. It's not perfect by any means, and eventually, it probably will break. But in order for us to get up to the peak, we still have a ways to go here. So it either there's a chance, right? It trends back up, or in the same manner, maybe this will just be like a 2019 one, right? We had a 2019, 2020, and 2021. And then maybe we'll have a final one that does something like that, and then that's ultimately the trend that takes us to the top. Again, I don't know. I can't really predict short-term moves, obviously, but this is just what we're looking at. Let's pull up the extension from the 20-week. We haven't looked at that one in a while. So this is the log. This is the log of the price divided by the 20-week SMA. The reason why we look at the 20-week SMA and the 21-week EMA as well is because that is our bull market support. So that is the support level we come down to even in a bull market. So let's just look at that and see where we are. This is the macro scale. Here we are. I mean, eventually this trend will break, and I think it already did break, to be completely honest. But the reason why we know this trend will break is eventually if it doesn't break, then in 5 or 6 years it would imply the price is always below the 20-week SMA, which doesn't make sense because, again, the log of the price divided by the 20-week, if the price equals the 20-week, then that equals the log of 1, which is 0. And 0 is this line. So eventually it would trend below that line, which doesn't make a lot of sense in the long term. But if you look at the general trend, it seems like every cycle it doesn't quite get as extended as it was the prior one from the 20-week. And it's not a perfect fit, right? I mean, if you come down here, if you try to fit these two peaks, you can see it goes through those. If you try to match it up with the first 4, more or less, it tries to do an okay job. But over each cycle, right, the extension from the 20-week moving average so far has depreciated. So far, right? Again, doesn't mean we can't extend higher, but the peak for 2017 reached a decent amount higher than it currently is. So that's the extension from the 20-week SMA. I don't know if Bitcoin's going to break up or down in the short term. I mean, I really don't know. All I can say, right, is that if DXY trends up, Bitcoin will likely trend down. If Bitcoin continues to move down this quickly, altcoins will likely eventually bleed against Bitcoin. But if Bitcoin dominance is dropping below 68.5 and sustaining it, then it likely means that somehow Bitcoin is sort of holding on to this level, and that then altcoins are going to rally. Because, a lot of times altcoins won't really rally until Bitcoin definitively is done for a while, right? Until people can say, okay, the Bitcoin rally is at least over in the short term. Let's go speculate on altcoins for a few weeks. So until, a lot of times we won't see the altcoin market do amazing things. I mean, certainly it's done a lot over the last few weeks and months. I mean, Ethereum's up a lot. So, again, let's just watch. Let's watch to see if Bitcoin can hold these levels, and if it can, it could usher in an alt season, and we might see the dominance drop below 68.5 and trend lower. Okay, that's what we would want to see, right? If we want to see altcoins make their own runs. Yeah, I really should go back to sleep. It's probably not worth getting out of bed for, honestly, but all coins are still doing okay here. So keep an eye on this, because if Bitcoin can stabilize and help give people confidence that, okay, Bitcoin's not going to trend up to 43K tomorrow or something, then maybe alts can run this weekend. We have DOT closing back in to $14. Link is at $19.22, so it'd be nice to usher in a $20 Link. I know it already happened, but since I wasn't streaming it, you could argue, did it really happen? It's really hard to say if we didn't stream it happening. How can we be sure that it actually happened? This could be one of those wicks that didn't really happen, right? So let's keep an eye on Link. Let's see if we can usher in a $20 Link officially on stream, and of course we'll keep an eye on Bitcoin to see if it's going to ultimately trend lower, or if it will stabilize here and help usher in an altcoin season. Ethereum's still doing fairly well, 1168, and Ether Bitcoin is at 0.032 still. So Ether is still doing fairly well. ADA is doing well too. I mean, it's still at 30 cents. What more do you want, right? I mean, let's see what Bitcoin's going to do here, and maybe we'll get a little bit more definitive movement here over the next hour or so. Someone says Bitcoin's facing resistance on my stick figure line. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Are we going to jump down to a new cliff and send Bitcoin lower, or is it going to come back up here? We'll draw the stick guy here and see what happens. See if he's got a leg to stand on. Let's take a look. It'd actually be cool to see Link go back to $20. Yeah, I do need to drink coffee, but I don't like coffee, so I don't drink coffee. This is a problem. This is why I'm always yawning, is because I don't ever drink coffee. All right, let's take a look. Alts are still holding on so far. We're at a crossroads, right? We are at a crossroads right now. Bitcoin is testing this area that it's been testing, off and on for a week or two. So we're at a crossroads, and I think everyone is fairly aware that at this point, everything depends on Bitcoin. Everything depends on Bitcoin. Is it going to come crashing down in a blaze of glory, sending the entire altcoin market spiraling back down to more reasonable levels, or is it going to hold and usher in alt season? This is what we want to know. These are the risks we take. So we are at a crossroads right now. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and give the video a thumbs up if you guys like the content. Carlos says other channels have music in the background. Okay, we'll go to those other channels. We're not. This channel is not for your entertainment purposes. I'm in the United States, if you're curious about time zone. Alright, Joey, for trolling the chat, and that's it. Goodbye. Actually, let's go ahead and put on slow mode so people can't do that. Alright. We'll see. We'll see what Bitcoin does. I mean, there's what we think will happen. There's what we want to happen. I mean, what I would want if I could have it my way, I would want Bitcoin to just chill out for a few days. This is what I would want. This is what I would want because I think if that happens, then altcoins could rally. Right. This is what I would want, but I don't always get what I want. And so that's why you have to tailor your strategy to be a little bit more pragmatic. If I always got what I wanted, it'd be a lot easier to trade these markets. But because we don't always get what we want, we have to remain somewhat pragmatic about things and recognize that there is a chance that Bitcoin dumps here, and if it dumps, it will not necessarily be that great for the altcoin market. Okay, it just simply will not be that great for the altcoin market. One thing that's interesting is, and we'll make a video about this later. If you guys remember, we talked about Link Bitcoin, the textbook bubble. It seems like it's getting back on track somewhat here, right? And we talked about this in terms of, maybe the first sell-off, the media attention, new paradigm shift, dead cat bounce, back down, despair, and then the return to normal. So hopefully Link's back on track here against Bitcoin. Yeah, I know Uni did pretty well the last few days. I think I saw it get to like $7 or so. We'll do the 1 second chart a little later in the stream. Right now, I just want to see if Bitcoin holds. The other chart, the other chart we talked about, just to talk about all of them, is the 2.5 log line rule. That'll probably break at some point, and it's probably garbage if we're being completely honest. But the idea is that we drop 2.5 log lines from peak to peak on the regression rainbow, right? So let's zoom in. So that was one log line, 2.5, then half, a full, and then another one to the next one, so 2.5. And then if you care to guess where we are at 42K, well, my friends, we are at 2.5 log lines, as we showed. So 1, 2.5. Again, it'll probably break. It's probably garbage, but it's just something to keep an eye on. Dave says he's gonna go make coffee and have a cup for him and a cup for me. I appreciate that. Diego, we already looked at DXY, so we actually, I put out a video earlier today on DXY. We've been talking about DXY on the channel for a long time. Yeah, of course we know that the DXY dictates the Bitcoin moves. This is obvious. But again, even if the 2.5 log line rule does theoretically work out, and then this is the short-term peak. Remember, these are monotonically increasing. So if we were to come back down and then ultimately trend back up to it later, it could be a much higher value. Even if it is the local top, it doesn't necessarily mean that it won't trend higher. It just needs it means it needs more time. Did I fix my chair? No. Do you realize how many Satoshis it would cost to do that? Too many. Too many. How do you bring up the 20 week moving average? You just go to indicators and type in moving average and then go to settings and change it to 20 on the weekly time frame. What do you guys think in the chat? Will Bitcoin hold on at 36 and usher in potentially an altcoin season, or is it coming back down in a blaze of glory? I'll switch it over to the 15-minute for a second so we can see this. So is it a dead cat? It might be. We'll see. Even if it is a dead cat, if it holds on here for a few days, we could still get an alt rally. It depends on how quickly things transpire. I generally don't use Bitcoin to buy things. It's just when I buy things, I always think about how many Satoshis it would cost me, because I don't think about what their value today would be. I think about what their value, 5 years from now might be, or 2 years from now or something. I'm like, oh, it's going to be a lot more than it is today. Therefore, the opportunity cost is so high. Let's go back to 5 minutes and see if Bitcoin's going to hold here, or if we're going to get another dump in the short term. Make sure you guys subscribe. Let's get to 100,000 subscribers. Where are we at now? We're at 93,000. I feel like we could at least get to 94,000. So make sure you guys subscribe and give the video a thumbs up if you like the content. We're going to keep an eye on Bitcoin here and see if it can stabilize. And if it can, then maybe we'll see the rest of the maybe we'll see the altcoin market continue to do well. Obviously, we want to keep an eye on Link. It recently put in a new all-time high, or did it, because we didn't stream it, so we don't really know if it really happened. And DOT also did. DOT went to 1492. So this is also one we want to keep an eye on, as well as ADA and Ethereum. We'll see Ethereum still doing well against Bitcoin, 0.0322. Ian says yawning is contagious. I always wonder that when I yawn on stream, do I instantly make like 3,000 people across the world yawn? If the Bitcoin dominance drops significantly, could it drag the Bitcoin price down? I guess I don't know. I mean, do you mean? I mean, if the dominance is dropping, then yeah, the price of Bitcoin could bleed. I mean, I still feel like the next, I mean, this is definitely a turning point in the market, or not necessarily to say that it's going down, but it's just to say, we're coming close to the point where it's either definitively going to go back down, because when you look at the Bitcoin chart, it doesn't seem to me that it can trend sideways for a very long period of time. Especially if you look at it like this, right? I mean, it's either going to go up or down for the most part. Again, it can go sideways for a little bit, but for the most part, it's probably going to go up or down. Here, we have this trend line here. I don't know how useful these types of things are. So, I mean, it's been trending up since on this line here, basically since December. And you can see that we had tests at this level. We had a wick below. This wick went right to it. This wick today went right to it at 34,000. So I imagine some people are watching this and seeing if we ultimately hold it or not. Let's go back to the 5-minute. Our little cliff dwellers. What that line is, so you keep an eye on it. Someone said, does Ethereum's price move along with Bitcoin's price? I mean, they are correlated to some degree. But of course, there's the Ether Bitcoin valuation, and there's definitely times when Ether is outperforming Bitcoin, obviously, because otherwise we wouldn't have this very volatile chart. Alright, let's see what happens here. We're back below 36. Let's see where Link is. Link's still at 19 bucks. So Link's still holding on strong so far. And Dot's still at 13.47. So the dominance again is right at that level. We're on the cusp. The cusp of it. The market is trying to decide. What are the top 5 coins in my portfolio? I feel like the chat can probably answer that. Does the chat know what are the... No, I'm not a T guy either. I don't like T either, so go figure. You guys know the top 5 in my portfolio. Yeah, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Link, ADA, and DOT. Those are the main 5 that I follow. You can see them right here, right? Bitcoin, Ethereum, Link, ADA, and DOT. Let me move that one up to the USD. So Bitcoin, Ethereum, Link, ADA, and DOT. Those are the main 5 that I follow. I follow a couple others, but for the most part, those are the ones. And again, Link is doing pretty well today. I mean, it's got back up over 50,000 Satoshis, which I feel like is something notable. Probably not something to get out of bed for, right? I mean, you don't get out of bed for something like that, but it's notable. Carlos says, no coffee, no tea, no music equals question mark. Yeah, I guess I'm just a pretty boring guy. No coffee, no tea, no music. Nothing like that. I tried music on one stream. Like one time I tried music and I could not focus. Like it just kept distracting me, so I turned it off. Someone says I don't get out of bed because I never go to bed. It certainly feels like that sometimes. You know, the nice thing about watching my stream without music is that you could then play your own music in the background. It caters to every individual person's music taste. What selection of books are behind me? My undergrad was in math, so a lot of math textbooks, and then my PhD was in nuclear engineering, so a lot of engineering textbooks, and then my wife got her doctorate in nursing, so then a lot of nursing textbooks, and then a lot of other books that we just read for fun, I guess, and also a lot of board games. Yeah, Settlers of Catan is like the gateway game for the Euro type games. All right, we're still watching. Bitcoin still is hesitating, of course, because we came on stream, right? So we can't get price action on stream. That would not be uh, okay with Bitcoin. Yeah, my favorite board game is none other than chess, right? We even play chess live on stream sometimes. Actually, one time, John Bartholomew, he's an international master. He has his own YouTube channel. He was in the chat, and I played him live on stream. He kicked my butt, but it's my favorite game. Yeah, sometimes it's good to come on stream, just to give people time to figure out what they're doing, right? There's so much volatility. We come on stream, let people think clearly for a few minutes, then when we go off stream, the price starts moving again. I'm doing you guys a service to some degree. Yeah, we started watching Queen's Gambit, my wife and I, and then I got too distracted with crypto to keep watching it, and then she kept watching it, and I thought it was funny that out of the two of us, she was the one watching a chess television show. someone Someone says, "Can they buy me a new shirt?" No, I'm good. I'm pretty happy with my wardrobe, even though most people think I need to upgrade. Again, think about how many satoshis that stuff would cost. Like new shirts, it's a lot of satoshis, my friend. All right, we're at 35.7. I feel like the chat is like delayed by like like 2 minutes because like my stream glitched a little, and I think it's like I almost wonder if the chat is behind by a couple minutes all of a sudden, because now I'm seeing comments from things I said like 2 minutes ago. So if it doesn't quite sync up, it's probably because my video went out for a second and then it's come back in. I've had this issue before. It looks like our little cliff dweller is standing very firmly on his ledge right now. So our imaginary parabolic line down has in fact identically almost held resistance. our little cliff dwellers. Yeah, I actually do have. I don't know how many people are aware of it, but I actually do have some interest in that market, the NFT market. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it whenever crypto calms down a little bit. I can't keep him from jumping, man. Like if the price comes down and forms another ledge, they're just gonna jump back down to that one. I can't delete the line. I can't delete it. It is, we have to keep it up there. Our cliff dwellers are following along. And look, the Bitcoin dominance is still around 68.5. So again, we are at a critical level, I would say. I mean, it's not to say this is an emergency video or any BS like that. It's just to say you can see the market is standing in suspense, right? The market is standing in suspense as to whether Bitcoin can hold and usher in altcoin season, or whether Bitcoin is about to have a spectacular drop, and which would likely, I mean, it's not even guaranteed, but a spectacular drop would likely send the dominance back up. It's not guaranteed, but I feel like there's a decent chance that the dominance would go up in a catastrophic or I don't know, maybe not even catastrophic, but even if it were to drop to like 28K or something like that. All right, we'll see if our cliff dwellers have another ledge to jump down to. Yeah, the cliff dwellers, they can climb. They can climb sometimes. But this is a cliff dweller live stream. Still hovering right around 68.5%. Link is coming down slightly. Dot coming down a little bit, but again, it's because Bitcoin's coming back down. So we want to see if it'll hold or not. We don't have a new ledge yet. It hasn't bounced back up yet. DXY still looks pretty strong, so. Yeah, this is the 5-minute chart, not the minute chart. Remember to subscribe. Let's go for 94,000 subscribers. We're at 93.2. So make sure you subscribe. Give the video a thumbs up. Also, remember, we do have a Telegram channel with over 13,000 people. So if you guys are looking for a crypto community to be a part of this market cycle, I'll post it in the chat. Check it out. And then also, we do have the premium list at intothecryptoverse.com. If you guys want access to the exclusive content, at the very least, make sure you subscribe to the channel. All right, we'll pull up the 1 second chart, the anxiety chart. Let's actually open up a new a new tab here. So let's do Bitcoin USD. We'll go to our anxiety chart. So here we are. This is a 1 hour. Let's go to the 1 second and usher in anxiety. And we'll do our garbage TA on the 1 second chart. And we'll also keep an eye on our little cliff dwellers over here to see if we can ultimately break this trend, and if it does, then maybe we usher in alt season. We'll have to keep an eye on what's going on here with Bitcoin. So you can see that our trend line so far has held resistance on our 1 second time frame. I hope you guys know I'm kidding. I sometimes worry about when I joke like this and someone just joins the stream and they think I'm being serious. How long do these corrections last before we break new all-time highs? I mean, it depends, right? I mean, it depends on if it's like the extent. I mean, it could be days, it could be weeks. I mean, it could be years, right? We really don't know. I mean, this is why we say never let a good bubble go to waste. I mean, I'm just curious to see, if Bitcoin, if it's going to keep trending down, right? And we're gonna ultimately usher in much lower prices. I know it's cool to say you're buying the dip, but I mean, this is still a pretty dangerous dip to be buying right now. Might work out, might not. Certainly not a risk I want to take. If you take it and it works out, though, congratulations. Link is still around 19 bucks. Dot still around 13. Dominance still around 68.5. Bitcoin is still trending lower so far. Let's go back to our 1 second chart. My chess rating, I think I'm around like 1700 or so. I did not say acquisition period of a lifetime for Bitcoin at 40K. Maybe someone says they bought the wrong dip. Not necessarily. It could work out, right? I'm just telling you what I find too risky and what I don't. I find this too risky. It doesn't mean it won't work out for you, and I hope it does work out for you. Okay, I hope it does work out for you. Yeah, I watch the stock market a lot. We talk about the stock market more on the premium list, but it's hard to talk about stocks when cryptos is this volatile. So this is what we're focusing on right now. We came up, found support on our trend line. Let's see what happens here. It looks like our low today was 34,292. Pretty nice wick all the way down. So that was our low today. 34,292. Bitcoin dominance still around 68.5. So what are you guys thinking? Are you thinking Bitcoin's gonna hold and usher in alt season, or um, is it gonna be a bloody day for Bitcoin? William says when you have more money, it is worth less. Is my stream still going? It says no data. This influence makes me to. This influences me to take less risk. Oh. How numerically do you value your money as you have more? Clearly, your first million is worth a lot more than your 10th. I mean, I feel like it always just comes down to percentages, right? I mean, to me, it just comes down to percentages, I suppose. I mean, like, going from 10K to 100K is the same percent as 100K to a million, etc. So you're always taking the same type of risk. Of course, once you have more, it's not like billionaires are necessarily throwing their money at random altcoins that probably don't really have much value. It's just simply not worth their time. Dominance is still holding at 78.5. I mean, obviously, we would like to see a definitive move in either direction, either up to higher Bitcoin dominance or down to altcoin season. So far, we have not seen anything definitive. Our little cliff dwellers. I would like to see some volatility one way or another, either in the altcoin market or in Bitcoin. Otherwise, we won't keep the stream going forever. What's the 20-week SMA at? It's around 18,500. All right. We'll see what's Link doing. Still not much. Well, I mean, most of the altcoin market is just sitting still, waiting for Bitcoin. What's going on here? Oh, 1 second chart. Make sure you guys subscribe and give the video a thumbs up. Let's go for 1,000 likes. Subscribe to the channel. We're just watching Bitcoin, seeing if we can maybe usher in a further altcoin season, or if Bitcoin is about to go through the return to normal dead cat bounce phase. Let's check out the dominant. So, I mean, yeah, nothing's really changing right now. So, of course, because we're on stream, nothing's really changing much right now. Maybe we'll wrap it up here soon, and we might come back on if it starts to move. Yeah, we looked at DXY. DXY is having a good day, which is probably contributing to the Bitcoin downward price movement. Does Premium have Discord? Well, it technically does, but it's not active. It has a Telegram. So the Premium list has a Telegram alerts channel, Telegram chat room, risk dashboard, weekly reports, weekly videos, some other things. So make sure you guys check it out into thecryptoverse.com. And also remember to check out our Telegram channel, over 13,000 members. So we'll post it in the chat. Make sure you guys check it out. All right, what do you guys want to do? You guys want to wrap it up here and come on later? Market's not really moving right now. It's breaking the Cliff Dweller resistance, our imaginary resistance line. What is the dominance index, Swede? I mean, the Bitcoin dominance is just, the percentage of the market capitalization of Bitcoin divided by the market capitalization of, in parentheses, Bitcoin plus all the other cryptocurrencies. So basically it shows you the percentage of money that's in Bitcoin divided by the percentage of money that's in crypto. Yeah, Ether, I feel like Ether's still doing okay. It's still at 0.0322, so alts are still holding on because Bitcoin is still holding on. And if it can hold on for a little bit longer, like a few days, then maybe we'll see Ethereum push to 1400 dot, maybe that higher than 1492. Link obviously would like to go back above $20. It clearly depends on what Bitcoin does here over the next few days. Was pretty. That's the 5-minute time frame. That was a pretty nasty dump that we just had. All right. Dominance isn't really moving. Obviously, we want to see a definitive move one way or another for alt season or continued Bitcoin dominance. Ethereum's not really moving. Nothing's really moving right now. Someone says, when can we buy new shirts? Maybe after the bull market. All right, let's see what happens here for a couple more minutes, and then we'll go off stream. Someone says Bitcoin is a finite resource. I mean, it is, and I mean, I believe that Bitcoin will go to 100K eventually, right? My toenails are a finite resource, but that doesn't mean they have value. So, you just have to keep that in mind. I do expect Bitcoin to ultimately trend to six figures this market cycle, but I just probably not going to happen tomorrow. All right, let's check one last time. Ethereum still doing okay at 1161. Link is back above 19. We'll probably do a video on Link some point today. Dot 1330. ADA at 30 cents. So the market, the altcoin market is still doing okay right now. Obviously, its continued health will depend on what Bitcoin does, whether this trend continues or if Bitcoin can hold off and let the rest of the market move. To keep an eye on it, keep an eye on DXY. If this keeps trending up, Bitcoin's probably going to have a hard time trending up. Okay? If this keeps trending up, Bitcoin will likely have a hard time trending up. So keep an eye on DXY. Keep an eye on the dominance. If we're dropping well below 68.5% and we're sustaining it, then it might be time to usher in altcoin season, which we've already had. I mean, we've already had elements of altcoin season for a while now. I mean, a lot of coins are up, many multiples over the last few weeks, last few months. So let's not pretend like it hasn't already started. But it could even get more impressive if Bitcoin can hold. So hopefully I'm glad to see me. I've talked about ADA for like over a year and a half. I feel like I'm glad to see I start talking about ADA. We've been covering ADA since it was like less than 2 cents. Anyways, if you guys like the content, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Let's go for 94,000 subscribers, I guess. Give the video a thumbs up. Check out the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. And also remember, there is the Telegram channel. We'll post it one more time. Over 13,000 people. So if you guys want to continue the party, if you consider this a party, then check out the Telegram channel. We posted it. And then also check out the premium list if you guys want access to the exclusive content into thecryptoverse.com. I think we'll wrap it up here. I mean, Bitcoin still is at 35.9. Not a whole lot has changed since we jumped on stream. So go figure. Let's take one last peek at the coin at the market capitalization. So we have Bitcoin, Ethereum, DOT, and ADA. So it looks like ADA is back in 5th place because we don't count stable coins. So you guys know my top 5 for a long time been Bitcoin, Ethereum, DOT, ADA, and Link. So we'll see if they can. I hope that they ultimately make up the top 5. That's a dream of mine. Probably won't happen, but something to keep an eye on. So we'll keep following along with that. I think we'll wrap it up here. We've been going for over an hour, and the price isn't doing anything. Though I will say, I'll leave this chart up, and if we do come on stream later, we'll see if we have any more cliff dwellers jumping back down, or if they're trying to hike back up the mountain. And ultimately, that will help us figure out, where alts are probably heading in the short term. So thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, turn on your alerts. You guys know the drill. That'll wrap it up. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.